This is one small tweak coming into impact that I know you have to make to hit longer and straighter iron shots. Like you saw the thumbnail, right? That's with 7-iron, going from 145 to 160. And that's just one person. So imagine what that could be to you. And by the end, you're going to be in situations like this on tough shots and stand here, feel as though you can strike it onto that green. Now, if I said to you, the quickest way to lower your scores is to hit more greens, guaranteed. Also, think about it, it's just nice to strike your irons better than all your mates, isn't it? 100%. Now, let's get into this because I reckon you must have had maybe 10, 20 more times in your golfing life where you've stood there, you've felt like you've hardly hit an iron and it's just rocketed off. This is what you have to make. So make these adjustments in order to be able to do this. Now, the reason why a lot of us don't strike our irons as long and as straight is because as we come into impact, we are here trying to get that ball up into the air. Always moving in sort of that instance. We're taking long backswings, becoming very long, very scoopy, and all that's doing is turning that 7-iron into like a 9-iron and your 9-iron into like a wedge. Think about that logically. That's not going to result in longer and straighter shots, is it? That's just going to result in higher, shorter, and more off-line shots. So when you're in an instant like this, with those scoring irons, those most important ones, whether you're trying to hit a green in 2, trying to hit a green in 3, make this into your game. And I know this is something that you can take straight to the course. So now let's get on to bringing this straight out onto the golf course. We're on the 14th hole here at Mottram Hall, and this is a pretty intimidating approach shot. I want you to use this whole process every time you've got an iron in your hand. These are meant to be hit the green with. Okay, so you get your yardage, whatever you use, whether you use a laser, whether you're using a watch, whatever you're using. I want you to automatically think softer and smoother. So as you approach your shot, I want you to, and this might sound a bit sort of counterintuitive because, as I said, you saw on the thumbnail that it's going to go further. I want you to grip down. So I want you to grip down where instead of having sort of an inch at the top of that club, this bit here, I want you to now have 2 inches, okay? This is going to help you as you come into impact. A little bit shorter, a little bit easier to control, and therefore easier to find that middle. I now want you to, let's say my 7-iron ball position was just ahead of my zip for an easy sort of area. I want you to move it level with your zip, okay? Look what this does to my forward shaft lean. Moving the ball back in my stance gives me a little bit more forward shaft lean. Now, going back to what I said before, look how as I come into impact now, my hands are going to be a little bit more ahead and therefore going to hit down a little bit more, taking loft off the club, which is going to help me create a more efficient impact as I come in here, resulting in longer shots. Hitting down more, hands ahead, more centered hits is that recipe for that increase in distance. Okay, so I'm going to hit 2 shots away here. Just pay really close attention to the pace, my rhythm, my tempo, and how I come into impact. One final adjustment that I make on that setup is that as I'm addressing the golf ball, I will just have a little bit of my weight feathering my front side. So my left side for a right-handed player and my right-hand side for a left-handed player. That's just going to really, really help me. Okay, have a look at the screen right here, right? 2 versions. The first version, really long swing, a little bit out of control and scoopy. On the other side of the screen, we're putting what I'd say is a little bit more of a compact version. Something that's great for those scoring irons, those sort of 7, the 8s, the 9s, the wedge, where as you come into impact, because we move that ball back, we're starting crunching it a little bit more. Our club's now working that way, not that way. And all this is really, in its simplest form, is a punch shot. Okay, final ball here, just come face on for me. One word of caution. Now you might think, Alex, why am I telling you caution? Before you start seeing and trusting how far that's gone, I mean, I absolutely bulleted that shot, and I couldn't believe it actually trickled off the back, even on a good shot. I want you to, okay, because you're swinging shorter, you might have to take 1 club more to start with, just to trust that you're going to get the distance. Because naturally, when most people do this, you're taking a shorter swing and our brain's going, it's not going to get it there. So for the first sort of 4 or 5 holes you try this, take 1 club more to encourage you swinging smoother. And when you start seeing that ball bullet over the back, you then can take that result in longer distance. So nice and simple. Because I'm now coming into impact with a slightly more aggressive setup, helping me get a little bit more here, helps me hit a bit more of a punchy knockdown shot, more efficient. So that's why most of us hit it further, as opposed to back and scoopy. That's, I know how you're going to hit some better iron shots. Okay, oh my God, here we go. I've got one more in my hand here. Let's hit the green. That's the best of the bunch. Look how balanced it is. That's what I want you to emulate. We're dancing.